This is Rupert from RJ Blackwalls. Today I've got a customer of mine, and he is he's just buying a Merkel Helix actually, and we're going to look at fitting this rifle and setting it up. And George, tell me a few bits you like about you particularly liked about this specific rifle.
Yeah, so when I came to see Rupert about getting a new rifle, we looked at some different ones, some different brands and stuff, and although probably this is maybe a bit overkill for the caliber that I'm getting, I just really liked it. I like the safety, I like the sort of the straight pull action, and I also it does look really cool. So those were some of the things that sort of attracted me to it, and it's going to be interesting to see how you want to set it up.
I think now we did a little video beforehand concerning this rifle, and some of the key points we're going to just go through a bit more on this little talk and video is how to set up the adjustable cone correctly, get the height right for him, and also just setting the scope up in the right position. So when George mounts it, hopefully this rifle will become a part of him, and he'll get the best performance out of it possible.
I think there's also, we wanted to fit a bipod stud as well, which is quite interesting with this rifle.
Yeah, absolutely. For the bipod stud, we'll get the moderator set up, set the QD mounts up correctly, and also this, on this, to adjust the trigger pull, if we want to do any tweaks to it, the best way of doing that is by taking the stock off, and we can just show you that as well. So we're going to set up this rifle. We're going to get the scope on, and then in a second we'll then get the adjustable comb set up. We'll show you how to adjust that to the right height. So George, when he comes to mould himself around the rifle, he's going to be in exactly the right position. So first things first, let's get the set of worn rings and get the scope on it. Warns are quite good. These rings, I like them a lot. They got decent size Allen keys. They're T15 star keys, and some of the other manufacturers I think put T10s on, which I'm not such a fan of. But they've got quite big screw heads, and they do last. So we're just gonna whip these apart. So George is having a little Zeiss scope. It's actually not that little. It's a 3-12 by 56. Perfect for doing what George wants. He wants this primarily for foxing. So plenty of light gathering and a sensible magnification. Nothing too crazy, but plenty for what he needs to do. So we can get these little pins, and we use a torque wrench for doing all of our scope mounts up. So we don't over tighten them, but we tighten them enough and they're all tightened evenly. With the bolt being on this side, always put the actual quick release levers on the other side, just so there's no chance when the gun's extracting with a longer piece of brass it could clip the side of the ring. It shouldn't do, but it's just good practice. moment I'm just loosely putting these together. The nut, due to the way these warns split, they are a little bit fiddlier to put to set up than maybe another style of mount, but once they're on, they're really good. First things first, we're just going to line these to the... George is not the tallest of guys, hasn't got it, so we're going to have to set the scope fractionally further back. So because you've got various slots on the top of the action here, we can set the scope that little bit further back, and it's quite nice, got that little bit of adjustment there. So we're just going to start to align these, open up. We're just at the moment just getting to the just rock in. So at the moment, all we're trying to do now is just making sure that these are clamping up correctly, and that we can rock them on and off. So both rings are now in the forward position. What we've got to do next is start to push the scope further back and get George to be in the right position. So the scope at the moment is a little bit too far. A little bit too far forward. So, got to be careful with these scopes. Some people push the scopes too far up to the main objective here and hit the taper, and I've seen people clamp them up, and when they do that, they can crush the edge of the tube. So just always don't try and push the front of the scope. If you need to get the scope far back, don't bring it too close to the edge of the tube. I'm just going to give a quick visual inspection of how square this is. Sometimes with a bit of luck you can get them on pretty much smack on, but other times I need a bit of a tweak. So sometimes there's all different ways of doing it. These are quite handy. What I use just to get them sort of vaguely square is I look at the light underneath the edge of the corners here of the scope mounts hanging over. We've got a bar on the top here, and what I do is I drop that on there, and then I use the horizontal bar for the crosshair. So I drop my head down, level the bottom up to the bar crossing, and then the horizontal bar, I then bring the scope, the crosshair through it, and just to see, that's pretty close. So what we'll just do, we can finish this off just by using a level. And this just needs a little adjustment. So you stick a level on here. This is a really fine spirit level. It's an engineer's level, and we'll just get that at a point. Of level. And then, now we know our left to right is level, we'll then put the scope on. sure that's set forward. And then we'll put the spirit level on there, and that just needs a little tweak. Tweak across, it's not quite straight. So put the spirit level on top, and you've got 2 points, and then you can get your scope level. So you're just going to have to adjust these little screws here. These aren't fully done up. Just so we can relieve this. And when you're doing these up, nip them up with an Allen key, but if you have got a torque wrench, that also works. That is by far the best way of doing scope mounts up. Ease these off a bit. I don't want them to go too loose. I just want them to just be loose enough just so we can tweak it around and nip it up. Sometimes as you tighten these up, just by tightening up, you can pull the scope left or right a fraction. And one thing, if you have a rail mount, you don't have to do any of this because you literally just plonk it straight on. It should hopefully, all the engineering, all the machining should make it square. Perfect. So I'm just going to tighten that up. And then we'll get a torque wrench. We'll whip around it with a torque wrench. So preset. Like I said, final visual inspection. It's absolutely smack on for my eye. And now the next thing, we need to set the scope back. I'm going to get George to mount the rifle, make sure his eye relief is, he can see as much of the picture possible, and he's got plenty of eye relief. And then we're going to set the adjustable cone up. So when you press the button here, this will come up to exactly the right point, so he doesn't feel he has to adjust it. So, if you have a quick look at that, are you seeing a full picture?
Yeah, it looks good. That sits right? You happy with that?
And your head, just unmount the rifle, and then mount it. So George's head could do with coming up just a fraction. He's just having to rock. You see, he's rocking his head up and down. He's just having. He will need to come approximately about a centimetre, just because as he mounts the rifle, he just has to rock his head up to see it. He shouldn't need to do that. He should have a full purchase. So we just take that down. We'll adjust this. And the other thing with adjustable combs is sometimes in different positions you might actually need a fraction more adjustment than. So if you're lying prone, so because of the way your neck sits, sometimes you need a bit more support against the face because you tend to throw your body down into the stock further. So just trying to do this in such a way that you can see this. So there's a little collet in here. What we're going to do is undo that. Push that down, and then I'm going to push the collet up with the Allen key still in it. It's the easiest way of doing it. And I'm going to tighten it off. So now that's at its natural stop. So hopefully it will come to the same position.
That feels great. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So what we can also do, so George remembers in the future, we use this. You can take a bit of a measurement. So if that, for whatever reason, if that ever comes undone, you can take a bit of a measurement from the base here. So 7mm. Fit the pad back in. The Allen key sits in here. It's really simple again. I showed this previously. Push it down and lock it down. And there we go.
That feels great.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And that is it.